Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be upgrading the speakers in the back of the Bronco. Mabett sent me their 6.5-inch speaker pods, and I got some Kicker KS series speakers as well. So let's get them installed and check them out.
A big thank you to Mabett for providing the product for this video. This speaker pod set is made from an ABS plastic material. The kit comes with the main pods, the speaker covers, comes with some grommet spacers and some brackets for the 2-door Bronco, and it comes with a wiring harness as well. When using this on the 4-door Bronco, you don't need those mounting brackets or the grommet spacers. It also comes with some screws to mount your speakers as well. I added some sound deadening to these speaker pods by Canop US. I'll add a link to this and all the other materials used in this video in the description below. I just cut out a variety of shapes to use inside the pods and then stuck them down firmly. And here's an example of what it sounds like with and without the sound deadening. Makes a huge difference to the sound of the enclosure. These are the speakers I purchased, the Kicker KSC670. These are actually a 6 3/4 inch speaker and they fit just perfectly. The speakers come with speaker covers, trim rings, they have a wiring harness, they have mounting screws, some foam inserts, everything you're going to need for this. And I've put a link to these below as well. First I'm going to connect the wires together with a mini heat gun and some solder heat shrink tubing. The grey and black wire with a small connector is the negative, the other is the positive. Using a solder heat shrink connector, I'm going to join the black and grey wire to the white wire. Push the wires on each end of the connector and then just heat it up. The solder in there will melt and it will join the two wires together. There's a couple of waterproof grommets in there and then it's going to heat shrink it all together. Now you're going to insert this wire into the only big hole on the side of the speaker pod. Pull it all the way through so you can rest the connector into the slot that's designed for it. Then connect the other end of the wires to the speakers. As I said, the small connector is the negative, the larger connector is the positive. And there's a little red dot painted on the positive side of the speaker. Next, flip over the speaker carefully and place it inside your speaker pod. I used the speaker grills to protect the speaker whilst I was inserting the wires, and I rotated it just to make sure that it was lined up perfectly on the speaker pods. And then just screw them all in place with the supplied hardware. Using a T30 Torx bit, you're going to remove your original speaker pods. Use that same T30 Torx bit to remove the two bolts at the top of the speaker pod. You can lift up the pod now and pull it towards you away from the roll bar. Next you need to remove the cover from the front. It just pops off really easily. And then you need to just unclip the connector at the top. Press in the spring clip and pull it apart. Here's a comparison of the two speaker pods side by side. The left one is the OEM, the right one is the new one we're going to be putting in place. On the old pod you're going to need to remove this little metal clip. Pull it off and then you're going to insert it into the new speaker pod. It is a bit tight but it will fit on there. If you have a 4-door, you're going to remove this bracket and put it onto your new speaker pod. If you have a 2-door, you're going to use the ones that came with the kit. I'm using a T27 Torx bit to do this. Tighten the bolts down but keep them loose so that you can wiggle the brackets around. That'll give you some maneuverability when you're installing the pods. Now it's time to install the new speaker pods. Join the two connectors together. Make sure you hear them click. Feed the wire and the connector into the slot that's designed for them to stay. And then the speaker wire that's nearest the roll bar, that is going to feed into a little slot and it's going to be held in place. Rest the bracket up on top and insert the bolts. Now that you've got the bolts in place, you can go ahead and tighten them down. The top two bolts use a T30 Torx bit. The bottom two on top of the speaker pod are going to use a T27. And then also tighten up the one on the roll bar. I could be wrong, but I think on the two-door you have to put one of those cylindrical spacers behind here. And there you have it, it's installed and looking good. You want to go ahead and do this whole process on the other side. The speaker cover has 3 foam inserts in there to help mitigate rattling. And that cover simply clips onto the front. Make sure to press it down firmly until you hear it click on all 4 sides. As I say, do the same process on the other side and you should be good to go. And here you can see they look very nice and almost OEM from the back of the Bronco. And this is what they look like from the inside. They don't block your view at all.
As you can see, they're very straightforward to install, and man, what a difference they make. I mean, the speakers are the big part of it, but the housings to actually put those speakers in there are fantastic. They are perfect for a 6 3/4 inch speaker, which is the ones I purchased, and they mount really securely in there as well. They've got some foam in there to stop them rattling, and I added some sound deadening too. Really impressed with how they have worked out, and the sound difference is incredible. I've got the B&O system, so I can't change the forescan settings as I understand it from the forums, but the difference is already incredible. Love it so far. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Give the video a like, maybe subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.